So Caitlyn Clark today was in a video from a Chinese YouTuber, basically just being interviewed. It is genuinely a good video. I'm going to show a couple of clips here. I don't know what I clicked just there. I'm going to show one or two clips, honestly, and the rest of it, if you guys want to watch it, it's all translated. And it is a really good video from Telfair Tong on YouTube. Don't know who he is, not going to lie. But at the end of the day, this guy obviously has some connections. He must be very big, very, very big in China, considering the fact that he has interviews with Kawhi, Cooper Flag, Shea. Or maybe he's just an NBA guy and doesn't have interviews with these people. And I just assume they're all interviews. Either way, he got an interview with Caitlyn Clark, so fair play. But there's some interesting things. So let's take a look at some of the clips here. Obviously, the start of it. Let's take a listen.
WNBA 的奇迹 ，WNBA 的门面，甚至是女篮的希望。
I feel like I probably always had a lot of natural.
She's the miracle of the NCAA to face WNBA and even the hope of women's basketball. And I'm going to be real, like, I'm not going to. The hope of women's basketball isn't. You know what? Fuck it. I'll say it. Yeah, it was. It was the miracle because, let's be real. Let's be real. As great as Taurasi was, and Taurasi was a well-known player, there were never, and this is where it's a miracle, where there are male children whose heroes and the player they look up to is Caitlyn Clark. That is something that I never thought I was going to see. And that's something that I'm actually happy to see. And not in the way of like, oh, you know, it's great to see men having female role models. Like I hope I've made this very clear on the channel. I've always been on the opinion that ball is ball. Whether it's men's, whether it's women's, whether it's the WNBA, whether it's EuroLeague, whether it's the Irish National League. Like I've played, the highest level I've played at is the Irish Superleague. The highest level like I've played consistently at is fucking, albeit the best team outside of the national leagues in Ireland. But in the Dublin Division 1 is the highest level I've been a starter at. Like, so I've not played at that. I've played at an okay level. I've played against future EuroLeague guys for the national team, albeit at a very young age. I've been around every level of basketball. I grew up watching. Like, I grew up in an era before my parents could afford to put NBA on TV and we didn't have internet, where my basketball heroes were Owen Quill, Bernard Walsh on the Tolka men's team, and then when the Tolka women's team brought over Eva Cunningham, she was the best fucking player in the world to me, to 11-year-old me. Obviously, an American player came over and nearly won a Super League for Tolka women's. But that's one of those things where it's like, it is, I do believe that's the situation where you're like, it is a miracle. It's not, if you want to ask anyone 5 years ago, anyone, would there ever be a time where a female basketball player was going to be the most popular young player in the world and was going to be the most popular basketball player amongst kids? Sorry, one of the 5 most popular basketball players amongst kids. Because let's be real, LaMelo Ball is LaMelo Ball. Like, but in terms of kids emulating it in basketball and not just popular culture for basketball wise, she might be one. She might literally be one. It's like 2016 Steph. But this is Caitlyn on Inspiring Girls in China. Let's take a listen.
旁人难以想象的压力，成为全世界的女篮门面，到底是一种什么样的感觉？
We talked about the past, we talked about the present, now let's talk about the future. I think you inspired a lot of girls in China, more and more attentions for women's basketball in China right now.
And by the way, there's some good young female players in China, like a lot better than the men's. I'm telling you, obviously they got Yang Hansen in the men's side. There's a lot of good female basketball players, a lot of good young players coming through. I'm pretty sure the best player in the Chinese league is like 22 years old. So it'll be an interesting one to see what happens there.
A lot of young girls, they attribute their interest to basketball, of basketball to you.
Cool.
So how you feel about that?
That's pretty cool. And obviously China's not a place I've ever been to, but I know I'll be there very soon. And I think that's super exciting. And I think having that type of reach is something that also has an impact on me. Like, you get to inspire so many different people from different walks of life, but they all love the same thing. They love basketball and they love getting to watch it and become better at it. And that's exactly like kind of what my story was. I like always just wanted to be better. I loved watching it. I wanted to.
And one of the funniest parts about all this is, I know, like, obviously, I think, was he of Chinese descent? But if you guys don't know, her favorite player was Jeremy Lin. Like, obviously, sorry, her favorite male basketball player is Jeremy Lin. We know the Maya Moore thing. But if you look at her tweets, her entire like Twitter from like 2016, from like 2014 to 2016 is just her fangirling over Jeremy Lin. Like, that is a funny one, funny coincidence there. But yeah, look, it is this interview again. It does show a lot, and it showed like the whole thing talking about stuff like this. When it comes to Caitlyn inspiring people, and that's one of those things where it's like the old WNBA are trying to diminish Caitlyn almost as a human. I genuinely do think there are people in WNBA media treat Caitlyn as subhuman. And what they don't realize is like, however fans get in the door, it's your job to keep them there. Like, there is none of the fans that were there, oh, you know, all these even the fans that thought all these players were terrible until Caitlyn, and then they watched the All-Star game, and Arike Ogunbowale did what she did. Arike Ogunbowale is one of the most famous female basketball players in the world because of one game, because everyone's watching it for Caitlyn Clark. And to a lesser extent, to watch Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese on the same team. There are players, Kennedy Carter is one of the more famous women's basketball players because of what she did on a team with Angel Reese. And she became infamous because of hip checking Caitlyn Clark. And then people started watching her play and was like, oh shit, she's actually elite. Kelsey Mitchell, her relevance, Lexi Hull, everyone, where it's like, it shouldn't matter. If people in the league and the media were arguing in good faith and everything was in good faith, it shouldn't matter how the eyes are coming in. Your job as a player is to make sure they stay. Or if you think Caitlyn Clark's not all that, do what they, like, go steal the ball off her 4 times in a row. Like, nobody is out here calling out. I'm just trying to think who's actually, like, properly locked down Caitlyn. And I'm not talking about Dejanay hacking the shit out of her for 4 quarters and refs not calling it, and Alyssa Thomas shoulder barging her in the face and hacking the shit out of her. I'm not talking about that. That's not defense. That's just referees letting Caitlyn get beat up. Like, who's absolutely locked down Caitlyn? Fuck it. Like, the Valks. Whoever the Valks put on her. It didn't really matter. And if you end up being, like, being seen as a player that can put it up and a team that can put it up and people are watching and you're playing full basketball, people will kind of stay because, again, it is a time of year where people don't give a fuck about the summer league. Where a lot of kids are off on their summer holidays, basketball's on, and the WNBA is a much cheaper ticket than an NBA game. Even for a Caitlyn Clark game, it's a much cheaper ticket. So, yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see these interviews. And look, Caitlyn Clark's impact all over the world obviously is huge. We know that. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.